this part because in his condition, he considered that condition is very important in the evaluation part. And here comes the results of research question 1. To answer the research question 1, the table 5 is the descriptive statistics of presentation quality measures. And we can find out that in the verbal part, the teacher used a wider range to rate the students. And however, in the visual part, the rating of teachers and the treatment group and the control group is quite similar. And the table 6 is the correlations of presentation quality measures. And we can find out that both of the treatment group and the control group have higher correlation with the teachers. And also in the visual part had a high correlation to the teacher. However, compare the visual part and the visual part, we can find out that the visual part is more higher than the verbal part. And the answer for answering the research question 2, we find out that table 7 is the rated subversity measures of control and treatment groups. And the table and the result of one ANOVA appears in the table 8. And we find out that there is no significant differences between the two groups, which means that there is no effect on the rating training on the rated subversity measures. And for the last research question, we can see the table 9, the descriptive statistics of students' attitudes toward peer assessment. And we can find out that both in the control group and the treatment group, the mean score is above 2.5 in the 4-point Likert score, which means that's quite high. And we can find out that there is no big differences in the mean score in the two groups. So it comes to the conclusion part. The first conclusion is, based on the record analysis, we find out that there is 2 dimensions were proposed in this study, which are the verbal skills and the visual skills. And for the second conclusion is, both of the control group and the treatment group show high correlation with the teacher. And we also notice that the visual part is higher than the verbal part. And for the conclusion, for the third conclusion, and we notice that there is no significant differences between the control group and the treatment group in the rated subversity. And for the last conclusion is, the control group and the treatment group both give positive comments to their peers, and also their attitudes, their students' learning attitudes between these two groups, there's no differences in this part. And finally comes to my own reflection part. First, I want to talk about the participants. As I just mentioned in the grouping part, there are 33 students enrolled in the treatment group and 38 students in the control group. However, totally there should be 78 students, and you plus 33 and 38 together, that's only 74. Therefore, student is missing. So I have a question in this part. And for the next is about the detailed information. Because for example, as I just mentioned, the researcher mentioned about their oral skills ability. However, she did not mention what kind of exam that is. And second, about the evaluation form, you can turn to the paper at the end. There's an appendix that is an evaluation form that is quite very unclear. And I have searched the internet to find the researcher Yamashino that her evaluation form. However, I cannot find any information about this part. And also about the questionnaire, the researcher only mentioned that it's kind of attitude questionnaire. However, we did not see any questions or any deeper information about this part. So I think the detailed information in this research, the researcher should give more about this. And this is the end of my presentation. Is there any questions?